push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, and welcome to a Monday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. Appreciate you hanging out with us today. Not sure what we got in store for a show today, but I know that we're going to have some fun nonetheless. We got to celebrate. We have to celebrate big because we have some teams that are going to the regionals. We have some teams that are going to, well, we have a team going to the States right now in the Springfield Girls. We're going to celebrate all that stuff. And so much more here on today's show. Congratulations to all the teams on all their successful seasons this year. Even though you don't walk away with the trophy, it's not necessarily a lost season. We talk about this all the time. This is Northeast Ohio. We set our sights high, right? And along the way, the journey is really the destination, if that makes sense. The journey is what you really want to take away from it, because these are the times of your life that you're going to talk about year after year after year after year for the rest of your life. And we had some good stories this year, and we have some great stories still to tell, because YSN, as we always do, we will be holding our very own YSN All-Star Game. This year, it's going to be March 25th. In Beagley Center and on the campus of Youngstown State University, where all the best, and I'm talking about all the best, will be in tow. It's the who's who of basketball, and it's going to be held at YSU, which I think is very fitting considering the majority of our students, athletes, should be and could be playing at the next level. So it's a good chance to get your eyes on some of the best, not just seniors, but all around basketball players in the area. And they will all be kind of crashing down on Beagley Center on the campus of Youngstown State University on March 25th. Tip-off, I believe, is at 5:30 for the girls and about 7:30 for the boys, I believe, in that time frame, somewhere within there. Still cutting that out. And you've seen some of the players be released, and we'll continue to do that all this week and the next week, and then the week after. So all the way up until the game, and then we'll have full rosters. And you'll have a draft as well, as we typically do for YSN All-Star games. So thanks to all the players and coaches that'll be participating, the families that'll be on hand. And again, it'll be at YSU this year for the first time ever, and hopefully in a long string of opportunities, and with our partnership with Youngstown State University. So excited for that. And not only do we have that, but our awards are coming out starting tonight with the Freshman of the Year for boys and the Freshman of the Year for girls. You'll be able to take a look at that, as they have been voted on and approved by all kinds of YSN folks that are kind of taking it's been over the last 4 weeks. So I've been very, very, I wouldn't say absent. I've been very, very sporadic with the meetings that I've been able to attend with everything going on here in East Palestine. But my guys have done an excellent job of making sure that there's good representation. And the reason of why we do these awards in the first place, we understand that there's a lot of different players and student athletes that could get these awards. And we're not trying to slight people. However, we do believe in that there's only one trophy to be handed out from that scenario. So a lot of these are very, 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 very tough decisions, but decisions that we have to make carefully and make based on a lot of different factors. So a preemptive congratulations to all that that win these awards. We think that you did an admirable job this year, and look forward to seeing the big things that you do, not only on the floor this year if you're still going, but obviously in your future endeavors as well. Not only that, but keep this in mind. Coming up tonight will be the semifinals. The semifinals for the big dogs of the year in basketball. We're going to put the brackets together. It's going to look a little weird. It's going to be top heavy. So it's going to be, there's only 7. So there's typically 8. So we go 4 on 4. Now it's going to be 4 on 3. So we have to set it up that way because, again, the timing just did not work out for us this year when the derailment happened in East Palestine and kind of kicked us out of our home. We could not get an 8th person to be the big dog of the year. And while I'm not trying to make excuses, I don't think anybody wants a shirt that has butyl acrylate on it. So we're going to make sure that that there's trophies to be handed out for the player of the year while we try and garner some more shirts for baseball and softball season. And we might be doing track this year as well. We might be doing track. So we're excited for that for big dogs. But we do have a show to do, but make sure that you do be on the lookout. Lots of great content coming out. I know that Anthony's been killing it with all of that. Chris Sigler's been doing a great job. Mike Wolfgang, who joined us on a more regular basis, has been doing a great job with content as well. Matt Morrison with his new show debuting in the midst of all of this. It has been a interesting 4 weeks. It's been an interesting 4 weeks for us, but we have trudged through. We have fought our way back out of the corner, and we will continue to do so until we're back to 100% here at YSN. All right, so I want to start with how awesome it has been to watch the Springfield girls just absolutely I feel like they're taking over the world. Being able to first off, watch Anthony and his excitement for this team, but to watch a team like Springfield, who we've watched in different sports, obviously, have so much success, to have JC Mullen, who we think a lot of here at the network, to see her lead by example and lead this team of just, I mean, Tigers are the best way to describe them. Obviously, it's their mascot, but they've kept the eye of the tiger the entire time. The entire time. Teams, pundits, I mean, people even at YSN have counted them out and saying, that's not the team. That's not the team. Here's the team. But they've put all that in their back pocket, and they've just absolutely pushed their way to the top of the pile. And Springfield is part of the Final Four in girls hoops, which if you're not excited for, my goodness, where have you been? Dude, check your pulse, check your heartbeat, because Springfield girls basketball is for real. It is legit as it gets, and it's so fun to watch. It's a good brand of basketball. Coach Matizzi doing a phenomenal job over there, a phenomenal job. And he has his team believing in each other, which if you talk to any coach, any player, that is one of the most important feats that you can have as a coach. And to get them to believe in each other along this route that they're on to get into the Final Four. And I want to say the last team that we had in the Final Four for girls basketball was West Branch. And that's without doing any digging in the stats, but and it was COVID year because they were on the floor and then they were asked to leave. I believe that was the last team that we had in the Final Four, maybe boys or girls, for basketball. I got to believe that's the case. I got to believe that's the case. So legitimately, people have been looking at Northeast Ohio, obviously, for football. We had Canfield, we had South Range, win state titles. We had Warren JFK come up just a little bit short. We had multiple teams that were in the hunt. They were dogs hunting for that championship trophy. And they always said, well, you better get it in football because you're never going to get it in basketball. Methinks the tide is changing a little bit. The tide is turning because I think that it says more about our student athletes as a whole than it does just about football. We've had baseball championships. We've had multiple teams push towards baseball championships. We've had multiple teams push towards softball championships. We've had multiple track athletes that have pushed for state titles and won state titles. We've had teams win championships with an S in football. I really think the girls' revolution has begun here in Northeast Ohio. I really believe that. And I believe that with my whole heart because you're seeing it in basketball, and typically that's where you're going to see it first. And I really think that volleyball is going to follow this because the level of athleticism, the IQ of our volleyball programs is at a height that it's never been higher to this point. And I'm not saying it can't go even further, but I'm saying our girls' athletics in Northeast Ohio has completely taken a huge step forward, a huge step forward. And I don't know, I feel like every former athlete that I know from yesteryear had a baby girl at some point, and the competitive gene absolutely transferred at birth. And now you're seeing that competitor that some of us are very accustomed to get transferred into the female side of athletics. And that's a scary thing because to have that just absolute demon, that beast within, to have that DNA in you, it's a scary place for some of these teams that have to play teams in Northeast Ohio. Let's check the comments real quick. Who do we have? Anthony Hartwig says McDonald went in 2021. Yeah, you're right, Anthony. I forgot about that. My apologies, McDonald. I forgot all about that. How can I? EB was all over with that. Good call, Ant. I appreciate you keeping me rock steady here. Yeah, we're seeing some unbelievable talent come through, and when you look at the future of not only girls sports but sports here in the Mahoning Valley, my goodness, it could be championship season all year around, and that's something to be excited about. I know people get really excited for football, as do I. Baseball and softball, that's really the season I pay the most attention to. But it has been fun to watch basketball. And I'm not just talking calling basketball. I'm talking watching basketball in YSN this year. To be able to sit back and watch all the talent. Because let's be honest, we've all seen bad basketball. We've seen bad basketball. We know what it looks like. We don't want anything to do with it. And kudos to the coaches that have really taken time out of their schedules, sacrificed these teammates or these players that have all sacrificed to make themselves better. You're seeing a good brand of basketball that's out there across the board, and you're seeing it at almost every game you turn on and you tune into. So kudos to all of them. Let's go. Not your mom's meatloaf. Oh, okay. There's DJ Yoker right there. Hope all is well, brother. The Ysn loss really surprised me, but great job, Springfield and Cheney. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to talk Cheney a little bit, but we also have to talk Akron-Hoban because they have done a phenomenal job as well. Obviously, one of the newer teams that we have, but they have an exciting brand of basketball, as does Cheney. Incredible. The Ysn loss, I think, surprised a lot of people. Naturally it surprised Ysn, but I really believe in my heart of hearts, when I asked people who had the best shot, Ysn was on everybody's lips. Ysn was on everybody's. Ursuline's going to take it. Ursuline's going to go. I think there's a lot of frustration with the way things ended so abruptly. And I know that that's not the way anybody wants to go out, but that's why you play the game, right? You never go out and set out to lose. But I think that this time of year especially, Ursuline was the top dog all year long through the power rankings and beyond. And you look at what Ursuline had, and they had a lot of firepower, and they still do. They have a lot of firepower coming back. Terrence Pankey obviously going to be a huge loss. To me, one of the area's best players, bar none, Terrence Pankey. I've always been a fan of this young man, no matter what he does. Great young man off the court, as well as an incredible player on the floor, and can get it done the entire length of the basketball floor as well. He doesn't just sparkle on offense. He also is really shiny on defense too. And I've seen that in person now. And I love Coach Gunther's brand of basketball at Ursuline. I fell in love with it. I can't speak highly enough about it. It is incredibly, incredibly talented, and you have to be very good to do it. And his guys do it, and they do it at a very high level. That loss, I think, was a heartbreaker for a lot of us. And you look at what Cheney has been able to do, beating one of the area's top teams in Canfield, and basically shining a light on themselves and saying, what about us? And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I love seeing the underdog, which Jamie Thompson, who has been the voice of Cheney throughout the years, it's incredible to me because he's been in our group chats telling us how good Cheney is, how good Cheney is, how good Cheney is. And at the end of the day, he's right. Jamie Thompson is up on the times. He's right. You look at the what they lost last year, and I felt like Cheney lost a lot. And I think that they have really played that underdog role very well this year. And moving to playing their best basketball when it counts, and that's in the tournament. So you can say whatever you want. I think they have 8 losses on the season. That sounds high? That might be right. I was looking at the bracket. I'll have to look during the break and see what they actually have for losses. But it felt like the talent that they put up. I mean, there were some games that it didn't feel like that was the Cheney that we're used to seeing. But to get for Coach Marlin to have everybody playing on the same level, which is top tier, this time of year, when you're playing your best basketball at the end of February and early March, you could be dangerous teams, depending on where that level is. And if you're Cheney, if you've got that level of basketball and that type of talent on your team and guys that are stepping up that otherwise you wouldn't expect. You wouldn't expect some of these guys to step up for what you saw during the regular season, but they're all playing their best basketball. And I can't tell you how proud that makes us here in the Mahoning Valley to look at that and say, look, these guys, they're playing the underdog card. Every single time, every time there's a draw, they're throwing the underdog card down. They're saying, listen, you may not think that we can do this, but we do. We believe in us. And we're going to show you. And they have done it time and time again. And for Cheney to be that team again, I think they put everybody else on lookout. Because there's a certain stigma, right? When you talk about Cheney sports, there's a certain almost fear that strikes into an opponent whenever you're playing Youngstown Cheney. Because while other Youngstown schools may have dropped that image of the railroad, the steel mill, the blue collar, Cheney hasn't. Cheney are those dudes. You do not mess with them. You do not want to go hard foul. You do not want to go into the paint against those cats because guess what? At the end of the day, no matter what your team color is, they're going to leave you black and blue. You're going to know you were in a fight when you're playing a Cheney team. There's no doubt about it. That's the exciting brand of basketball that Coach Marlin and the Cheney Cowboys bring to the table. And I can't be more excited for them. I hope they can take it all the way. A state championship for Cheney would mean so much to so many in this area, and I would love to see it. I'm the first to sign on the dotted line and say I would love to see that. But then you look at Akron-Hoban, right? You look at the other side, the higher division. To be able to watch Akron-Hoban, they've got a freshman center who is an absolute stud. An absolute stud. This kid is just he's like a Shaquille O'Neal in a 14-year-old body. That's the comparable to this young man. He is one of the most outstanding centers I've seen in the entire area. And he's 14 years old, I think. I'm pretty sure he's 14 years old. He doesn't look like he looks like a grown-ass man. But you watch him play, and you can tell that he has been kind of molded and shaped to be this guy at this time. TK's done a phenomenal job of building this team. He's got speed, he's got power, he's got skill, he's got exceptional talent, he's got depth on the bench. Archbishop Hoban is a team that you do not want to run into right now. And for them, I mean, the games that they're playing, the teams that they're playing, they would play anybody, anywhere in a parking lot if they had to. And when you can erase that fear during the season, and you walk into the tournament and you say, hey, we'll play anybody because we've already done it. We've already started that back in October. We're willing to play anybody, anytime, anywhere. And here's how we're going to show you how. I mean, the teams that they've played and the teams that they've embarrassed for walking into their gym or playing them and going one-on-one with Akron Hoban, my gosh. I would hope, and this was something that I had to kind of bite my cheek for the longest time here at the network. I hope there's people that are still out there that want to trash basketball in the Mahoning Valley and say we will never have a state champion. Well, listen, we're knocking on the door right now. We're knocking on the door, and YSN, from that standpoint, has 3 teams that are looking to kick that door down. And I know most people won't say that Archbishop Hoban is part of the Mahoning Valley, and that's okay. But listen, they're part of the brand. They're part of the family. And I think everybody should be able to get behind the Knights and say, listen, we're with you. Wave that flag, plant that flag, and let's go win a championship, and let's get excited about it. Let's get excited about it, right? So when you look at this, just from a bird's eye view, let's say, who would be your odds-on favorite out of those 3 to win a state championship? The odds-on favorite. We're not betting. There's nothing to, like, we're putting Skittles down, right? M&Ms, whatever you want to do. I don't know who I'd go with. I like Springfield because they have, first off, they're further on, right? They're already in the Final Four. Secondly, I like the girls because I feel like they've got, I don't want to say no fear, because I'm sure that there's a little bit of the butterflies that happened before the game. But they're also they're lower division. So that makes that things, I don't want to say easier, but you feel like they're on a more level playing field. I feel for Cheney in this regard, is I feel like they always get the short straw when it comes to division-wise because of their location, how the divisions are put together. I think Cheney should be in a lower division across the board. And I think that would scare a lot of teams in a lot of different sports. But they're not afraid that they're in their division right now. That they're stalking that Division 2, I think, right? Division 2? I get all jacked up with football and basketball, so you'll have to excuse me. But so then you look at Hoban, and Hoban's not backing down from anybody either. But I like the Springfield girls right now. If I'm picking an odds-on favorite out of those 3 teams to win a state championship, I like what Springfield brings to the table. Not just because of their record, because I think there's another team, if I'm not mistaken, they might still be undefeated. I'll have to look again. I got a lot of work to do during the break. Probably should have done this in prep, but as you know, there's not a whole lot of prep that goes into this show. We just talk. I'd be interested to see kind of how this pans out. Now, I'm hoping all three of these teams win state championships. We've been down this road before. I'm always going to say that these teams are going to win a state championship. I'm never going to bet against our teams. There's no chance. It's just not going to happen. That's not how we play here. I'm a fan for these teams. I'm a fan of Springfield basketball. I'm a fan of every team that plays on YSN. I want the best for them. And obviously, I wish they all could win, but we all know that's not sports. Competition brings out the best in us most times. And I think that the team that has been doubted more than anybody on the board right now is Springfield. And Springfield gets a little bit of that edge, that boost of, man, I really hope they bring it home. Because I think there's a lot of teams watching Springfield and looking at them and saying, if Springfield can win, so can we. I don't know that, other teams get the tingles for Archbishop Hoban when they win a state championship or when Cheney wins a state championship. I know everybody in Youngstown, everybody that's a Cheney grad is all about Cheney winning the championship. And it's an us versus the world mentality. And that's awesome. That's great. That's okay. But I think that we've seen this with runs with Springfield before. And it's, if Springfield can win a championship, there's hope for us too. And that's not taking anything away from Springfield. I think it's just that small town feel. It's that everybody goes to a school like Springfield. It's the homegrown situation. It's, well, if Springfield can do this, let's look at their blueprint of how they built this and let's build it just like them. And I don't think that's always possible, but I think that's the human element in it, that we look at Springfield and we say, we can do that too. We just have to believe it. But I don't think that everybody has the same student athletes as Springfield. I don't think everybody has the same coaching. How do I put this? Coaching finesse, the history that Springfield coaches. I don't think everybody has the same expectations that Springfield does, quite frankly. And I think there's people that'll tell you that. And I think there's people that will tell you that they do, and they don't. I think Springfield always, anytime they pick up a ball or a baton, they have an expectation to win it all. And I don't think this girls basketball team is any different than that. And that's what excites me. I feel the same with Cheney. I really do. I think that they had a rough football season, got cut short a little bit, shorter than we all thought that it was going to be. And I think that some of those youngsters translated over into the basketball floor and said, listen, we can either learn from what happened over the last couple of years in basketball, over the last couple of years in football, and be better because of it, or we can just keep running down the same route. And I think this leadership group and Coach Marlin finally said, enough's enough. We've been down this road before. We've been taking lefts. Maybe let's take a right this time. And that's what they've done. They've done it at a very high level. And then you look at Hoban. What can you say about them? Other than they just keep producing. And I think that level that everybody looks to for Archbishop Hoban is attainable, but it's something that takes time. It takes determination. It takes a lot to get where these Archbishop Hoban teams are. And obviously people will look and say, well, that's because of this, that, and the other thing. Sometimes you're just good at what you do, right? Sometimes you got to take the bass out of your voice and just go, wow, they're good. They're good. And it's across the board. You start at the top of the athletic director, the administration, all the way down. There's a reason that these kids are put in positions to win. And it's because the expectations that are put on them. So, all right, so let's check out Randy Schilling. Well, I appreciate that, Randy. I really do. Really, really do. That means a lot. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this All-Star game and why it's so important. And we're going to talk about the importance of all-star games, because I think that needs to be talked about this time of year, because there's some games that are just thrown out there, and I want to express why our game's a little bit different, and it's intentional, and why are we intentional about the way we do our all-star game, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, we're going to take a break, and this one's brought to you by our lead sponsor, the number one. And by the way, the great work that our friends over at Campbell Signs did on the YSN Tundra, the Toyota Tundra, has been phenomenal. I've been driving it all over God's green earth over the last couple weeks, and the response has been absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen the Tundra out, we're working on a production shoot right now to introduce you to the YSN Tundra. You're going to see it at the games. Anywhere I am, you're going to see it, and we want you to take pictures with it. We want you to appreciate it. We are your sports network, and unfortunately, that for you, that's my Toyota Tundra. But for everybody, it's equipped. It's got so many cool features. Tino Merlo out at Toyota of Warren did a fantastic job of hooking us up. So we want you to be part of that as well. We're going to take a break. Back after this on your Sports Network's Power Hour.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn.
Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists.
Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats.
Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Mill Creek Metro Parks is your park for all seasons. Make a memory in the park. Plan your visit today at millcreekmetroparks.org.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. Before we get on to the topic of why and how these All-Star games are put together for all different sports, I want to get to a couple things, couple announcements for East Palestine here. So if you're out there and you want to check on, East Palestine, how we're doing, East Palestine Strong, we have we're going to have a lot of events coming in, wanting to bring people into the village, let them know that we're okay, and that there's ways to contribute and have fun and naturally just be part of the healing process of what East Palestine will be in the future. So people have been asking me how they can get involved, how they can, contribute. So there's a couple things right now. The first thing is a definite on March 18th. I want to double check and make sure that's accurate. Yes, March 18th. It's going to be a Jeep invasion. The first annual Jeep invasion in East Palestine is going to be right on the main strip there, Market Street. If you can come join the fun, shop, walk, eat. It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, you can email epjeepinvasion@gmail.com. So the first annual Jeep invasion. So I guess what's going to happen is they're going to have, you can either be part of it or you can just come and watch and have fun and shop around at the awesome, businesses in town. But you can just come have fun. Look at Jeeps. Even if you're not a Jeep person, it's really interesting to see all these different Jeeps and models, and they're all decked out in some capacity. And they'll come in and they'll park and they'll be able to talk to the owners of the Jeeps and stuff like that. It's just a really, really cool thing. If you've never been to one, you might end up wanting a Jeep after it's all said and done, even if you don't like them. But we're doing that. Some of the great businesses in town have kind of circumvented this and have led the charge on it. So make sure you come out March 18th. And then one that is a little bit more near and dear to my heart is we're going to have, and I'm going to give you a tease here because we're trying to finalize things and make sure that everything kind of fits into where we want. We're going to have a best-selling author who's an inspirational just person in general and a motivational speaker as well on top of it. We're going to have him and a special guest come in to East Palestine and deliver basically a speech or a rally that lets people know that even though you feel like you're a victim right now, there's a better word for it down the road, and that's a victor. So you're not going to be looking at yourself as a victim, but just a victor as we look to march our way out of this. So we will have more information on that. We're trying to work through all the details. We're looking forward to that. I just bought this guy's book. It's awesome. I saw him on Fox. He was actually on right after I was on the one day, and it made me stop in my tracks. And I said, I don't know what it takes to get involved, but I want to be involved with that guy because I think he's setting the tone, not only for East Palestine, but I think it's great for student athletes. So that's why I'm going to open it up as well to YSN, because I think it's a great thing for athletes to look at, because no matter what, whether you're going through a train derailment, whether you're going through, personal issues or depression or things of that nature, I think that there's a lot more people that are looking to be, victims nowadays than they are to be victors. And I think that we've somehow lost that drive, and this guy is going to bring it back, and he's going to deliver a powerful speech. And I want you to be part of it. So as we get more details from that, I'll make sure that we pass it along to you so you can be part of it. Maybe he'll let us stream it for those who can't be in attendance that night. I think that'd be awesome as well. So just stay on the lookout for that. Lots of great things that'll be coming into East Palestine in the very near future. And we're just grateful to be part of it and to be a very small part in the rebuild of making East Palestine the greatest comeback in American history. So looking forward to that. One of the things that we will have some of the first responders. I know that the mayor, Trent Conway, is going to be at the All-Star game for our basketball on March 25th at the Beagley Center in Youngstown State University. So you'll be able to meet the people that you've seen on TV the last 4 weeks and maybe pass along some well wishes of saying, hey, we're standing with you. Because I know so many of these areas that watch YSN, that incorporate YSN, you guys know what we're going through, and we're trying to bring a little bit of East Palestine into the fold here as we continue to stand East Palestine strong. So, all right. So these All-Star games, one of the biggest things about these All-Star games that we get every year since we started it is, number one, you're not allowed, quote unquote, you're not allowed to have anybody but seniors playing these games. And that is a complete false statement. We have done our due diligence. We've gone to attorneys. We've gone through all the legal stages and things of that nature through the OHSAA and others. You're allowed to play in these All-Star games even if you're not a senior. And the reason is basically what it boils down is to the AAU rule, right? So the AAU came along and they completely upended everything. So you were only allowed to play in so many All-Star games. You were only allowed to play in, all that. The only rule they have right now is if you are a coach, you can't coach your player if in an All-Star game if they are not a senior. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much that's the be all and end all of these All-Star games and how you stay out of trouble. So we do the best we can, and then we do trades if we have to when we do our draft to make sure that doesn't happen. But we also know that if there's a senior, we want them to be with their coach so they can coach them one last time. And I think that's important. I think it's important to always have these All-Star games and understand what they're for. While they're really fun, and to me, one of the best nights of the year because we do it and we raise money for a nonprofit. This year, it's going to be Brighten Up for the Kids. And we haven't done a great job, obviously, in promoting that. We've already done an interview, and we'll be releasing all of that very, very shortly. But you have to have a reason to be doing this. And I don't think it's a good situation to be making money off the backs of high school athletes who are not getting a cut of what you're doing. If they're taking their time specifically for you at your event, and they can't do that with no NLI or NIL, but they can contribute in different ways to raise money for a good cause. And I think that's one of the things that I'm so proud of with our All-Star game is it's for different causes and causes that I feel like we can all get behind, right? Causes I feel like if you ran a company and you ran a sports company, you'd want to get behind this. Even if it's, a national nonprofit or 501c3 or whatever you want to call it. It's about the cause. It's about the mission. And Brighten Up for the Kids, to me, in meeting with their founder, she's told me story after story and tale after tale of what they do. And it's, number one, it's for the kids. Number two, it's for the less fortunate. Maybe that is just less fortunate for that day, right? Sometimes you never know what is going to knock on your door in life. And great places, great companies, great foundations like Brighten Up for the Kids and great people that run these organizations are there to help. And sometimes you just need that help. And I want to help those who help others. That's what we want to be, especially with our All-Star game. And I'm incredibly proud of how we've been able to help different organizations during these All-Star games, even if they don't necessarily feel like they need it or deserve it. Because there's some that say, DJ, we appreciate this, but we're good. Well, there's a difference between good and great to me. And I want everybody in our viewers area, in our viewership area, or everybody that can see or be part of YSN and everything that we touch, I want them to be great. I think that's the difference between average and above average. Average and great, right? Is, you can do something at the way that you've already done it. But we've been so blessed to have so many people help us and continue to help us along the way that I think the right thing to do is always be able to help others, even in your time of need. If you're able to help others, maybe things don't look so bad, or maybe you don't feel so bad whenever you've had a bad day or things of that nature. So that's number one, why I'm so excited about our All-Star game, is because we have the opportunity to strengthen others through sports and fellowship. And I think that's the biggest thing for us, is why we will always have an All-Star game. If I have anything to do with it, it's because it's more than just a game. It's a way that these student athletes, these coaches, these fans, these families can feel good about spending their money to get into something, knowing that it's not going to us, it's going somewhere else, that their hard-earned money is going to be paid off with. Because you never know what situations you're gonna encounter in life. Number two, we have the largest, by far, the largest showing of schools in any All-Star game, definitely in Ohio. I would argue in probably the country, as we're leaning towards 70 schools being represented in this All-Star game. So, we're going to have, schools that tell us, or students, athletes, or schools that say no. We've already encountered a couple of those, and that's okay. That's fine. If they don't want to be a part of it, that's not fine. We're not going to make them. We've had one young lady who had, I believe, ACL surgery, so she is not going to be able to participate, but she still wants to be a part of it. And I think that is a testament to what we've done and who she is, and kind of the atmosphere that we bring during our All-Star games, whether they're indoors or outdoors. I think there's a feeling, there's a vibe there that people are excited to be at our game, and some of the people that you're in the dugout with, or that you're on the bench with, or that you get to exchange, pleasantries with. That's the big thing for me is to be the biggest, not only the biggest, but the best. I think is always my priority, in obviously a distant number two to the first one of the nonprofits and the charities and all that. But I want to make sure that every kid that is represented on YSN has a chance to represent their school on the greatest All-Star game there is in the state of Ohio. And I think we've been able to do that. And Quinn Pushkar, who's doing an excellent job, and our team here at YSN, Chris and Sam and Anthony and Ty. I'm trying to think who else would be on that call. I think Eric EB is going to be on there tonight. So, I mean, our team's been doing an excellent job of making sure that this thing's going to go off without a hitch. And I'll be honest, I couldn't be more proud of them, because they're doing it without me in the fold. I was at the meeting on Monday. I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. I wanted to make sure that that everybody kind of did their thing, and I could just sit back and watch them go to work. The third thing that I'm really excited about for our All-Star game is it's at YSU. So that's a big deal, because you never know who will be there. Last year it was at South Range, and we sold out the place twice. So the girls game happened, and then they kind of had to file out of there and then file back in for the boys game. This time we want everybody to stay and enjoy the night. We want the boys to be able to enjoy the girls games with their families, and vice versa. It's a Saturday night in Youngstown. There's a lot of great atmospheric, restaurants around there. Avalon downtown's my spot. So if you're down in YSU, it's a short hop, skip, and a jump away from Avalon downtown. Shout out to Sabu. But there's a lot of stuff to do in Youngstown, and naturally we're going to make the Beagley Center the place to be on March 25th. So make sure you're there. Shirts will be available. We've ordered the shirts. They're going to be black shirts this year to represent the Youngstown feel and vibe. So what's usually a red, white, and blue with a gray or a white, we're trying to give a little bit of that Youngstown vibe to everybody and get them excited about it being in Youngstown. Check the comments. Yeah, David Park says, let's go. All right, let's go, man. I'm ready for it. What else is there? We will have a 50-50 going on as well. So have that. There is as I understand it right now, I'm trying to work through some of the kind of the intricacies of this. As I understand it, you'll be able to park. It's like $5 a park in the parking deck. We're working on trying to get the, I think we're going to, I don't know. We haven't decided on how much it is per person. We're going to try to go $5, and it'll be in the $5 to $10 range, depending on how we can get people in. It might be $5 and we give you a wristband or something like that. So we'll work through it. So the other thing is, what separates ours from the other games? Well, the first thing is we don't make it about us. We don't make it about YSN. And I wanted to make that abundantly clear. We don't try to make our All-Star games about us. We throw the party, but we want to make it about the student athletes and the coaches, right? We have 4 coaches for a reason, 2 coaches per team, because first off, there's a lot of players. Secondly, to be able to just pick 2 coaches is impossible because we have so many. To be honest with you, to pick 4 coaches for each sport is impossible. And, we just have to make sure that we drew a line somewhere. So we're excited to have the coaches that we do. We'll be debuting them as well here in the next couple weeks. I'm really excited about the coaches that we have this year. We always get a great group that represents not only what we stand for at YSN, but what the Valley stands for, that represent their schools on such a high level. And we put a lot of trust into these men and women, as do parents and obviously communities. So we feel very good about these coaches this year, and as we do every year, and we look to continue the good streak. But we don't, how do I put this? We don't want to abuse your kids when you're putting your faith and hope in us, right? So this is, a lot of these kids are getting ready for softball or baseball or track or a spring sport. They're done with basketball. They're not trying to get hurt, and we're not trying to hurt them. So some of these all-star games, you're going to see dunk competitions, which are exciting and fun, and that's great. Some of these you're going to see 3-point and skills, and some of these you're going to see like no structure at all. And it worries me because at one of these games, and we have liability forms and stuff like that we have to use to protect ourselves, but we instruct everybody, listen, we don't want any hardcore defense. We don't want any like just don't go out there and kill yourself. We want it to be entertaining. We want it to be fun. But at the same time, we do not want your kids to get hurt. We're not going to overuse your kids. So there's a reason that it actually works better for us when this game grows and grows and grows, and everybody's saying, oh, you need to have 2 or 3 different games, one night for girls and one night for guys. While I appreciate the input, I think the shorter amount of time, the more special it is. Because I think half of the cool part about All-Star weekends is the red carpet, right? To be able to see them walk out and to be able to celebrate it. It's hard to celebrate something if you're injured or if you can't make it off the floor. We want these kids to be better as they walk out those doors to Beagley Center than they did when they came in. We want them to have that feeling of how special they are and how grateful we are to have them in our network and to be able to watch them all year. That's the difference in our All-Star games. Anybody can go and stream it, right? People who haven't streamed all year or been talking about or excited about your kids or your community or anything, they can go in and just try to have one of these games and do it the way that we do it. But I can tell you that they're not going to do it the way we do it. It's just not going to happen because they don't have the same information. They don't have the same background. And quite frankly, they don't care about your kids the way that we care about them. They don't care about your communities the way that we care about them. They care about themselves the most times. And that's going to be the difference. And it'll show. No matter what they try to do or if they're watching right now or whatever, it'll show. It'll show. The proof's going to be in the pudding. And that's the biggest thing for us is it's not about us. It's about y'all. It's about the communities, the coaches, the student athletes. That's what it's about. And that's what it boils down to on our side of it. We don't want your kids to get hurt. We want them to have fun. We want them to have the time of their lives. We want them to talk about this forever. In 20 years, we want them coming back with their kid or, their nephews or nieces and saying, I was in that game. It would be cool to see that interaction. I'm excited for the future of this. All-Star games are great. They're great as long as they're run correctly. Do not get into a situation, hopefully, there's better people out there, and hopefully the operators of these All-Star games understand this is not it should not be a moneymaker for you. It should be an opportunity for them. If you want to showcase their skills, then do it. But make sure that there's a positive influence at the end of the day. I'm not a big fan of racking up money on the backs of adolescents. It's not smart, and it's not fair. It'd be fair if there was an NIL. That's where it'd be fair. And then you can cut these kids checks. It's not fair right now. It's not fair. And while I'm not an advocate for high school NIL, I'm an advocate for being fair to a high school athlete that's put so much time and sacrifice, and coaches that do the same. And they're volunteers. They're volunteers. So we will be working very closely to try and get even more opportunities for these kids with scholarships and things of that nature in the future. But right now, it's a good time, and it's a good way to raise money for and awareness for charities and nonprofits. And I couldn't be more proud of the student athletes and coaches that take part in this, because that is what it's about. It's about a good time, showcasing your talent, and raising money for a good cause. That's what an All-Star game, to me at least, should be about. Dave Parks checking in again. He says, great community atmosphere. Yeah, I love it. My fan. That's why you are appreciated. Well, I appreciate you, Dave. Appreciate you, my friend. We're going to get to the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark? Presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, you need to hit up our buddies over at Joe Dickey Electric on the campus in North Lima, or go to DickeyElectric.com. Here we go. Your Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark? Once again, brought to you by our friends at Joe Dickey, DickeyElectric.com. All right. So here's my spark. I've been trying to work on a new open for us for, probably, well, it's March now, so it's been over 2.5 months. Let's say 3 months. I've been trying to work on a new open, and I can't land on a theme. Like, I like the theme now, the boom, boom, clap stuff. But I beat myself up because I'm like, obviously there's been a lot going on, but that's no excuse. Like, I'm a no excuse guys. And I can't bring myself to finish the final product for the new theme in the open. So that's my thing. I'm going to beat myself up a little bit, and hopefully I'll be able to fix this and finish it. So that way, maybe next week we'll have a new open. But another almost said beef. Another spark is we will be having, once again, it sounds like Sam Torres is going to be leading the charge on this. We will be having a YSN March Madness bracket. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be, I think it's just the men's poll, but maybe we can get Sam to get interested in the women's poll as well and open things up. We'll do some giveaways and things of that nature. So we have some stuff, I think, as long as it's still okay down at HQ. We'll have to check on that and get it tested. But as long as we got it, we'll give it away. But yeah, that's going to do it for our show. Thanks again to everybody at Joe Dickey Electric, at Toyota of Warren for their just premium, outstanding just partnerships and sponsorships. Can't thank them enough. A lot of good things right around the corner for us here at YSN. I can't thank you enough for being part of it each and every day. Looking to get back to the daily routine here on the Power Hour. God bless you all. I hope you have a great start to your week. Go out there and win the week, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the YSN Power Hour tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on your sports network. Peace. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of